Chapter 61. A loss of 600 million. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'm betting on my victory, 5 million. Qin Feng contacted Xiao Lian prior to transferring over 5 million. Staring at the number on her communicator, Xiao Lian could not believe that she was holding such a huge sum of money in her hands. This only stunned her for a moment, and she immediately shoved aside the greed that was creeping within her, not daring to look at it again. After all, this was not her money. However, at the time he was placing his bet, Xiao Lian was rather bewildered. Is he so confident that he can win? He's an orphan, shouldn't he be short on money? Yet, he put 5 million on himself. Xiao Lian looked at Qin Feng, who was in the ring, and at that moment, she felt a surge of excitement. Believe in him. He can win. Xiao Lian gritted her teeth and decided to add 50,000 from her own savings. As the 5.05 million on her communicator was automatically swept away, Xiao Lian's heart began to thump rapidly in her chest. Arm Breaker had just re-entered the ring. With a crooked grin, he had already gotten the order to brutally beat the boy up, better yet, to tear him apart. To a G8-tier ancient warrior, this would be a piece of cake. He was only a little baby that had just recently awakened. In the backstage, Jiang Xiaoyang watched as more and more money was bet on Qin Feng and nodded in satisfaction. Yes, he would be able to make tens of millions again today. Tens of millions, even an F-tier ability user would have to risk their lives for up to a week in order to make that kind of money. Jiang Xiaoyang only had to open his mouth and a pile of money would land on his lap. This gave him a sense of fulfillment. Not only that, it also gave him a sense of control over people's lives. He was very pleased with himself. As the barriers rose around the ring, the MC's voice rang out. The peak showdown begins now. Let's see if our Mad Fox can get a 5-match winning streak. With that said, the referee brought his hand down and the fight began. Qin Feng did not bother waiting, he was the first one to launch a direct attack. His strength was already at a G9 tier, 3 tiers higher than Arm Breaker's, and Arm Breaker was barely able to react to Qin Feng's sudden attack. Grim struck out and only after a few moves he managed to grab Arm Breaker's arm before locking it behind his opponent. This arm. How many people's arms did this arm break? Roar. Let me go. Arm Breaker roared and struggled only to find that the force that was holding him was too powerful to break free from. Let go. Sure. Qin Feng said, his hand jerked violently and in that moment he snapped one of Arm Breaker's arms. Ah! Before Arm Breaker could continue to cry out, Qin Feng went ahead and snapped the other arm. Those who had seen the fight between Arm Breaker and Ruthless Tiger would have noticed that Qin Feng's actions were an exact copy of Arm Breaker's, minus the swagger and arrogance that the latter displayed. Qin Feng kicked at Arm Breaker's leg, knocking him down, and after 2 cracks sounded, he had snapped both of Arm Breaker's legs. You surrender now and I may be in a good enough mood to let you go, Qin Feng's voice casually floated over. Arm Breaker quickly cried out, I surrender, I surrender. Qin Feng punched him in the abdomen, activating his asteroid assimilation. Arm Breaker's internal force felt as if it was bundled up for a moment, then all of it was absorbed. Arm Breaker knew that at that moment, all of his internal force had disappeared. You! What did you do to me? Arm Breaker blubbered in panic. Qin Feng let out a frosty laugh. Surrender. In underground fights, there is no such thing as surrender. Qin Feng took Arm Breaker's line from before and tossed it right back at him, word for word. You played me. Arm Breaker glared at Qin Feng, now knowing that Qin Feng was merely pulling his leg earlier on. I said that if I was in a good mood I'd let you go. What a shame, because I'm not in a very good mood right now. Scumbags like these, Qin Feng would naturally not show any mercy. It was better if they died off one by one. You can't kill me, I'm a member of the Eagle Club. If you kill me, you're never leaving this platform. Qin Feng frostily laughed again. He would not be able to leave. He did not believe that. It would just be him against some G6-tier opponents, and if the Eagle Club did send people after him, it would be after he had already left. In fact, he could not wait for these people to come. With a final blow, Qin Feng pressed down onto Armbreaker's neck and after a crunch, left his opponent with a twisted neck, and eyes rolled into the back of his head. The body collapsed as life ebbed from it. The murderer, finally put to death. Qin Feng had used Armbreaker's own tactic to kill him, leaving the onlookers absolutely speechless, and also blood boiling in their veins. This was truly a match that carried a grudge. Ha ha ha, I've won 1,000,000. Upset, this is an upset. Awesome, what a great day. How the F***ck is Armbreaker such garbage. This fight staged. My money, Ednel.co. The audience roared with excitement and some started cursing out loud. However, this scene could always be seen within the Eagle Clubhouse. Everything had always been controlled by those behind the scene, but that was not the case today. Both the referee and the MC broke out in cold sweat. This was not the outcome that they thought would occur. It was supposed to be Qin Feng dead on the ground and Armbreaker emerging victorious. Yet, as if some kind of ironic twist of fate, Armbreaker was the one lying lifeless. Perhaps they were both stunned for too long. The audience began to get rowdy. Announce it. Announce it already. Where are my winnings? Why haven't you sent it yet? All of a sudden, a sea of queries arose from the crowd, coming from all directions. Boss. The referee shouted into his communicator, to Jiang Xiaoyang who was on the other side. Boom, was the huge blast of a sound that returned. It was clear that Jiang Xiaoyang had flipped over his table in a fit of rage. In this bet of 1.8, the bet he had collected was 80 million in total. In other words, he had just lost 600 million. Even for the F8-tier Jiang Xiaoyang, something like this was a huge sum of money. His face was contorted with rage. Who? Jiang Xiaoyang deeply exhaled. Announce. Convince him to come again tomorrow. He wants to play. Then we'll play it big. Yes, manager. The referee nodded and announced the results. At the same time, everyone there was clamoring at their communicators. Xiao Lian looked at the amount of money on her communicator and could hardly believe her eyes. 0.4 million Huaxia tokens. A series of numbers that made her unable to open her eyes. I'm rich. I'm rich. Xiao Lian said incredulously. Xiao Lian was so happy that she could not help herself. A seed of greed began to sprout in her heart, and at that moment she considered just taking the money and leaving. It was just that moment Xiao Lian's communicator vibrated. Got the money. It was Qin Feng. Xiao Lian unwittingly looked at the ring, seeing Qin Feng standing there, indifferent and raising his sight from his communicator and looking directly at her. She felt a shiver run down her spine as the recollection of Qin Feng killing Armbreaker snapped her out of her daze. Sent. It's sent. I'm transferring over to you right now. Xiao Lian hurriedly transferred 40 million over to Qin Feng as her heart fell. Beep. Beep. She received a message on her communicator. Xiao Lian opened it and saw that it was a transfer of 1 million tokens. Sent by Qin Feng. She could hardly contain her excitement and at that moment it felt like she had the entire world. When she looked up again, she realized that there was no sight of Qin Feng on the ring. Chapter 62. Threats. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mad Fox, here's your prize money for today. Looking at your ability, it seems that you still have a few tricks up your sleeve. Why not come back tomorrow? By then you'd be worth more than this. They did not know that Qin Feng had bet 5 million on himself and in one night he had raked in 40 million. Now, they were giving him 2 million, including the audience's betting money, which made it a night where he struck gold. If you can win 5 matches in a row tomorrow, you'll be able to earn more than 10 million. I admire you, so young and yet so powerful. While the man was still trying to think of what to say, Qin Feng confirmed the amount of money inside his account and nodded. I will come again tomorrow. Huh, please do. The person at the reception smiled. It would be better to stay at the clubhouse for the night, get a massage, and have a nice rest. There are plenty of pretty ladies here. Qin Feng immediately rejected his offer. No. I still have things to do, I'm off. Stay at the club. That would mean being monitored and maybe even poisoned at any time. Naturally, Qin Feng could not agree to such a thing, and not to mention, he had to go to class tomorrow. The man's expression changed, believing that Qin Feng was deliberately shying away and deciding to not come tomorrow. Still he could not stop Qin Feng. When it came to something like this, it was not easy to tempt someone. Qin Feng had already made up his mind. In the manager's office, Jiang Xiaoyang received a call again. His face was ignited with fury. Get someone to follow him, and when necessary, give him a warning. Isn't he from that orphanage? It's said that old coot Lin Durong is highly respected by the little scamps there. For Jiang Xiaoyang however, Lin Durong was nothing but an old goat ready to be slaughtered for food at any time. Yes, manager. After the man hung up, he quickly broadcasted a wave of communication, leading the Eagle Club escort team to dispatch a small squad. In this squad, there were only 5 people, but their strength was the same as what Qin Feng had seen at the front door. They probably had the same power level as someone in the G8 or G9 tier. Such combat abilities were already terrifying enough. Not even 200 meters away from the Eagle Clubhouse, Qin Feng could already feel that someone was watching him. He was in the slums with the towering buildings covering the sky. At night, there was almost no light and there was darkness everywhere. The 5 were obviously very familiar with their surroundings and managed to surround Qin Feng in a small alleyway, cutting him off from the front and back. Mad Fox, your ability is quite decent. How about you join our Eagle Club, said a young man. Qin Feng frostily replied, I don't have that kind of intention. After his rebirth, both the garrison and the patrol team tried to recruit Qin Feng but he had decidedly ignored them. The Eagle Club. What a joke. Not to mention, he would not possibly join the Eagle Club anyway because it was part of the deputy mayor's business. Boy, you dumb. Yeah, don't think that just because you have some power that you can start waving your tail feathers up in the air. The Eagle Club's strength isn't something you can ignore. The others threatened Qin Feng with a lofty, condescending attitude. The first person who spoke before, probably their captain, said, Now, don't freak out the kid. Mad Fox is only 16 years old, young and frivolous. That's normal. He changed the subject again before continuing, it's true. You really would not be able to mess with the Eagle Club anyway. Remember to come back tomorrow. Otherwise, you can run all you want but we'll find you eventually, not to mention, you can't be all alone with no friends, right? I've heard that you came out from that orphanage, even your dean would have to bow his head when he meets our manager Jiang. Qin Feng suddenly looked solemn. His expression was terrible to say the least, and under such dim lighting, it could only be vaguely made out, making it feel as if Qin Feng was absolutely furious right now. This was the effect they wanted. The captain chuckled and stepped forward to pat Qin Feng on the shoulder. Remember to come tomorrow. Otherwise we dare not guarantee that something unpleasant will not happen. After the captain finished speaking, he gestured for the rest of the squad to move out. How could Qin Feng just let them walk away like this? That sucks, right now I want something unpleasant to happen to you. Qin Feng said, raising a hand and instantly grabbing the captain by his neck. You're dead. The captain did not expect Qin Feng to fight back. He might have killed Armbreaker but he would not be able to stand a chance against him. After all, he was a G9 tier ability user. Yet, This was not a threat to Qin Feng, who could go head-to-head with an F.tier ability user. What was a G9 tier supposed to do? Snap! Qin Feng and the captain's wrists collided with one another, and the captain felt a great force coming from Qin Feng's arm. *T, boy, you don't know the meaning of life and death. The rest of the squad roared and started to attack. Dark Shroud. Qin Feng's consciousness pulled from the core of his power and his ability burst out. Dark runes enveloped the entire alley. At that moment, the four of them were lost in that infinite darkness, even losing all of their five senses as they panicked and started frantically attacking whatever was around them. Their attacks did not land on Qin Feng, but instead hit each other. What's going on? The captain was trying to process the scene in his mind, but in the next moment, a palm came close toward his abdomen. Asteroid assimilation. The assimilation activated, bursting forth. In an instant, the G9-tier ancient warrior's internal power felt like it was being pulled away by a vortex. Many years of hard work was lost just like that. Ah! The captain roared but found that he had no strength left to resist. Crack! Qin Feng reached down and bent the captain's neck like a twig. In the same manner, the other four had their internal powers absorbed by Qin Feng before he dispatched them in an utterly ruthless fashion. These people died without knowing what happened to them. Dark ability users were incredibly rare and Qin Feng's ability was extremely powerful. At this time, Qin Feng felt that the threads of his internal power had expanded the Dantian. It felt as if it was ready to burst at any given moment. Not only that, the five cadavers seemed to be giving off a burst of unknown energy. The energy that they have had while they were alive, of their flesh, was all absorbed into Qin Feng's body, thus strengthening it even further. Qin Feng suppressed the immediate feeling of ranking up. As his consciousness was pushing further, his power surged once more. Hellfire. 5 gouts of flame fell onto the 5 bodies, and in mere moments the flames consumed the bodies completely. It left no trace behind except for the dispersing ashes. Hellfire was such a useful skill. Qin Feng once again activated his power, shadow travel, and even with the countless possible forms of surveillance. Nobody would have been able to detect him while he took on the guise of darkness. After escaping the slums, Qin Feng was finally able to relax. After finding an unoccupied spot, he sat down in a cross-legged manner. Upon gaining insight of his Dantian, he learned that it was in a mess. The internal power he absorbed today, in addition to his own, had become well over hundreds of threads. Chapter 63. Little forebear, you are listening at novelfull.audio. From the beginning, Qin Feng had absorbed 15 threads of internal force from the gangsters in the slums. However, these internal force threads were very mottled, as thin as a cow's hair, though for Qin Feng, it was really better than nothing. And then, in the ring, Qin Feng managed to defeat a G2-tier, G3-tier, G4-tier, G5-tier and then the latest G6-tier armbreaker. The first few were just appetizers, but Armbreaker's internal power was extremely dense, netting him up to 20 threads of internal force. As for the security squad from the Eagle Clubhouse just now, their team captain was fully G9 tier while the other 4 were also G8 tiers, which added up to a total of 41 internal force threads. The difference in thickness and internal force properties resulted in the mess he had to deal with now. Swallow. Qin Feng activated his swallowing ability, causing his ability core to spin quickly as he gulped down the internal force within his Dantian that did not belong to him. The internal forces were quickly absorbed and finally integrated into his own body. The meridians expanded once again, almost to a level that would cause astonishment. Even if he were to stop absorbing people's internal forces, his training speed would probably still be 10 times faster compared to others. At this time, most of the threads had been consumed, having been refined to be extremely pure as they were spat out by the power core and absorbed into Qin Feng's Dantian. The original 27 internal force threads suddenly rose exponentially to a total number of 62. Qin Feng's strength had more than doubled. It was a good decision to come after all. Qin Feng felt quite excited. However, when Qin Feng looked at his dantian with his internal vision, he noticed a problem. Even though my dantian is strengthened by internal force, I'm afraid it can only withstand an internal force that has 10 times the number of internal force threads. In no more than a few days, it seems like my ancient warrior level would be promoted to F tier. This was fortunate since he had gotten himself a terribly strong enemy like the deputy mayor. How could he not attempt to quickly improve his strength? Having withdrawn his internal vision, Qin Feng dropped his cultivation state and left the alley. It was already 2 o'clock in the middle of the night. Beep. Qin Feng opened his door to find the house in pitch-black darkness, with only a round ball that was dimly emanating silver light appearing by the doorway. Qin Feng was stunned for a moment, but upon closer inspection, it was Xiao Bai. Xiao Bai. You're awake. Qin Feng said in surprise, and in the next moment, he felt the ball move and dash toward his feet at a very fast speed. Ouch! Xiao Bai's sharp teeth came down and bit into Qin Feng's leg. He sucked in his breath as he felt a sharp pain erupt from his lower leg. Arf arf. Xiao Bai dragged Qin Feng by the trouser leg, biting down hard. The high-quality pants could not help being torn off just like that, and with another rip it was finally reduced to rags. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feng's pants were shredded and Xiao Bai retreated for a moment before he hopped up and down on its remains. Arf 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 arf. Xiao Bai was very angry, no, absolutely fuming. Qin Feng and Xiao Bai had signed a contract so he could naturally feel its emotions. He was dumbfounded at the sight before him. Did it go crazy? Qin Feng thought about the moniker he had in the Eagle Clubhouse. Was that name perhaps prophetic? Xiao Bai. I'm sorry. You need to calm down. Qin Feng quickly uttered to comfort the animal. Xiao Bai let out a frustrated yowl, turned its head and dashed up the second floor. Xiao Bai. Qin Feng chased after it, seeing Xiao Bai darting into his bedroom just as the door was closing behind it. The door closed with a click, it had actually locked itself inside. Qin Feng. This fox was getting too smart for its own good. It actually managed to lock him out of his own room. For a moment, Qin Feng did not know whether to despair or be amused. Xiao Bai, why are you angry? Qin Feng could not help but think about invoking the contract between person and fox. At that moment, Qin Feng sensed a crisp and tender voice. Bad master, leaving me alone in the house. I'm so mad. And not letting me use my abilities. Probably went to go play by himself. Not even a gift when he comes back. Don't come back, stay out. This bedroom is mine. Qin Feng was a little stunned. He had not expected Xiao Bai to think as such. He was not surprised by the fox's thoughts but rather surprised by the fact that these thoughts were so clear. After the contract, communication between the two had always been based on a vague understanding of either one's consciousness. The invocation of the contract was also a form of communication with an application of consciousnesses, used by beast masters to facilitate clear commands to their ultra beasts. Ultra beasts did not normally understand human thinking. Xiao Bai was different, perhaps it was because of its high intelligence or because Qin Feng had been taking very good care of him, it had caused it to understand more and more, and to have more sensitive emotions. It was because Qin Feng told Xiao Bai to not use his spatial manipulation in the colony that Xiao Bai did not use it in order to find Qin Feng after it woke up. After waiting for a few hours, Qin Feng returned empty-handed, with no present for the fox. It was for that particular reason that Xiao Bai was angry. This ain't good. I need to have the little ancestor calm down. Qin Feng let out an indulgent laugh before opening his communicator. Tonight's winnings had been a total of 42 million, which was a huge sum of money for a G.tier person. If he wanted to, he could even buy himself a set of silver light rune equipment. That was not necessary though. Qin Feng opened up his browser and searched for energy crystal cores. The energy crystal nucleus had different values due to varying strengths. The Neapolitan Mastiff was worth 20,000. Beast King level crystals were worth 10 times more than that. Qin Feng directly searched through Qingyang's 1000 batches auction house, G8. Tier Twisted Lynx King Crystal Core, priced at 8.3 million. G7. Tier Blue Ripple Mantis King Crystal Core, priced at 7.21 million. G5. Tier Minotaur King Crystal Core, priced at 5.8 million. G9. Tier. After refreshing the page, Qin Feng took a closer look and chose some crystals with reasonable prices and relatively high energy before paying for his purchases. Using the Sky Pigeon Express delivery within 10 minutes. Qin Feng paid an extra 50,000. The Sky Pigeon was an extremely fast contract ultra beast. Its gentle personality made it easy to tame. While it had no fighting power, it was used for quick communication and goods delivery. In less than 5 minutes, Qin Feng's communicator rang. "Dear VIP, your goods have arrived. Please open a window or accept it in an open area." Qin Feng went to the roof and from afar he saw a huge pigeon. The pigeon had wings over a meter long with a round but strong-looking body. It was carrying a package in its claws. "I see it. This way." Qin Feng waved his hand. "Roger, I'll land the pigeon immediately." The Sky Pigeon had a communicator around its neck. The Beastmaster was using it to direct the pigeon to land and Qin Feng successfully obtained the package. Only the Wanzhong auction house was able to deliver items so quickly, and it was early in the morning too. Qin Feng had gotten the items, and the more than .40 million that was on his communicator was gone. Translator's note. I think I felt something in the last part, I just can't figure out if it's despair or adoration. Chapter 64. Beast King Xiao Bai. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Now the little forebear shouldn't be angry anymore. Qin Feng took the package down from the roof, walked to the second-floor bedroom and knocked on the door. "Xiao Bai, I brought you a present, do you want it or not?" Qin Feng asked. No movement from within. "It's an energy core. Your favorite food?" Qin Feng insisted. This time, there was finally movement from behind the door, and with a click, the door was opened. Qin Feng entered the bedroom and saw that Xiao Bai was back to curling up on its pillow after opening the door, coldly disregarding his presence. "I promise they'll taste very good. They are very powerful energy cores. I'm trying to apologize, all right." Qin Feng coaxed the fox as if he was trying to coax his daughter. Xiao Bai had not been growing this entire time. The only thing was its fur that was getting fluffier, and it was hardly the size of 2 palms. How could someone not pity this small creature? Qin Feng had already killed a number of people but he would not ever touch a fur on Xiao Bai. This far exceeded the gratitude toward Xiao Bai's saving grace. Maybe it was because of the contract. Maybe it was the days of getting along and fighting side by side. Qin Feng knew that Xiao Bai would never really disregard its own existence. "Humph," Xiao Bai harumphed and finally snatched the gift away from Qin Feng's hands, at the same time giving Qin Feng a glare. Yet, Qin Feng knew that Xiao Bai had forgiven him by now. Xiao Bai hugged the gift and with a swift swipe of its paws it opened up the box to see the 5 energy cores lying inside, all of which varied in sizes. Xiao Bai chose the smallest one and crunched down onto it. However, instead of falling into a deep sleep, all of the fur on its body stood up on their ends and Xiao Bai let out a whimpering sound. Qin Feng, who was trying to fall asleep, immediately sat up and looked at Xiao Bai. "What's wrong? Is there something wrong with the crystal core?" Qin Feng's first thought was that someone had poisoned the crystal cores but he felt that he was not thinking rationally. The aura exuding from Xiao Bai's body violently rose. This kind of aura seemed like a promotion. Not only that, the fur on its long tail was growing at a rate visible to the naked eye, almost forming a fan of some kind. Xiao Bai's strength was quickly rising as well. The different crystals Qin Feng had obtained from hunting ultra beasts were all given to Xiao Bai. Although it had only been born for a short period of time, within a month, Xiao Bai had not only evolved into a beast general, but its strength should be around G8 tier. Now, after eating the Beast King energy core, it did not go to sleep, which meant that the power change had to be something huge. Xiao Bai's energy aura changed from that of a beast general to that of a beast king. Upon seeing this, Qin Feng was naturally very happy. A beast king contractual ultra beast. That was something most beastmasters would find impossible to have. Xiao Bai's potential really was immense. In an instant, a crystal core was gone. There was a slight drop in Xiao Bai's aura, so Qin Feng hurriedly handed a crystal over to Xiao Bai, which it immediately slurped up. Perhaps it also realized that it had reached an important key moment. After a short while, Xiao Bai's power continued to rise, and its previously small as 0.2 palm size grew to that of half a meter. In reality, Xiao Bai was not really that small, but because it was easier for Qin Feng to carry it around it maintained that appearance. To highly intelligent ultra beasts such as Xiao Bai, shape-shifting was almost a necessary ability. Xiao Bai continued to devour the crystal cores. The third one, fourth one, fifth one. Xiao Bai's aura violently burst forth, unleashing a startling, monarch-like majesty from its body. The whole Qinghu area, even the villa area next to it could feel this sudden surge in power. It would never be known just how many people were jolted from their dreams, so startled that they were ready for a fight-or-flight situation. Xiao Bai. Quickly reabsorb your aura. Qin Feng immediately shouted. Xiao Bai quickly got its aura under control, but its appearance had changed greatly. Its tail had grown from the length of 2 palms to half a meter, but the fluffy tail had split right down the center and become a twin-tailed fox demon. Xiao Bai had risen to F tier. Not only that, it was at the Beast King tier. Unexpectedly, Xiao Bai managed to reach F tier before Qin Feng did. This new look for Xiao Bai made it look quite powerful and had this kingly majesty to it, but Xiao Bai, you've become like this in just an instant. How am I supposed to take you to school today? Xiao Bai had already made its appearance in school before. Upon hearing Qin Feng say that, its crystal bright eyes widened. Already it seemed like it was judging Qin Feng. Arf. Xiao Bai was fuming once again. It was going to be locked in the house again even after the promise that something would change. What a liar. Those other two-legged beasts could be seen walking around with their masters. With that thought, Xiao Bai suddenly thought of an idea. The next moment, Qin Feng noticed that the fur on Xiao Bai's body and tail had begun to quickly fade away, and the silver fur on its head was growing longer and thicker. Its body began to elongate, and the bald pink skin it had developed to resemble human skin. Its ears became round, the tip of its mouth and nose contracted, and its chin became more prominent, becoming more solid. White-colored eyebrows, a pair of crystal fox-like eyes, a small nose and lips tender and delicate. Qin Feng was beyond shocked. You. Master. Xiao Bai spoke with a crisp voice, the exact voice that Qin Feng heard when communicating by invoking the contract. However, at this moment, Xiao Bai was no longer a fox, but an actual person. White long hair that was emanating a silvery glow reached its waist, an alluring face that did not seem mortal came up to Qin Feng and asked in an extremely arrogant tone, "How's this? Can I go with you now? You humans are so troublesome." Qin Feng. He only felt his nose getting hot, something warm was dribbling out and he quickly covered his nose. Xiao Bai. Put some clothes on first. For the first time after his rebirth, Qin Feng felt the meaning of being in a state of frenzy. Xiao Bai had transformed but it bore no human instincts whatsoever, it was completely bare with no intention of covering itself up. Despite having transformed, Xiaobai was as flat as an airport and looked the equivalent of 13 to 14 years of age. Yet, Qin Feng was unable to stop his mind from briefly rocketing off into fantasy, especially with Xiaobai's crisp call of "Master." He felt like he was going to have a heart attack. "I can't wear my clothes now, can I?" Xiaobai picked up some of the scraps on the ground in distress, looking at the small wedding dress that had been torn after elevating into Beast King tier. She only had this one set of clothing right now, the others were still being tailor-made. Qin Feng hurriedly got up and said, "Wear mine first." He took out a shirt and put it on Xiaobai. It looked like a big long dress. An especially translucent dress. She became even more alluring and seductive than when she was not wearing anything. Qin Feng remembered that before the extinction of humanity there had been books written about fox spirits that could transform into women, charming the world around them. That was apparently not an exaggeration. "Come. Let's go buy clothes." Qin Feng put several shirts over Xiaobai in quick succession before buckling a belt around her waist. It was barely considered a dress, but it would have to do for the time being. After feeling more secure about her appearance, Qin Feng grabbed Xiaobai and quickly left the house. As for school, to hell with it, he was skipping class. Translator's note. Call me in 48 hours, I'm dying way. Chapter 65. Gigantification. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qin Feng had Xiaobai properly disguised with her hair curled up, hat over her head and even a pair of sunglasses covering her face. The only thing was that the sunglasses were a bit too big. Then again, it was technically what he bought for himself the last time in case he needed to cover his own appearance. After Xiaobai had ranked up to Beast King tier, the time was already 7 a.m. and there were already people going about their business downstairs. As Qin Feng took Xiaobai from the elevator to the underground parking lot, he heard many people discussing what just transpired as he passed by. "Did you feel it just now? That terrifying bearing?" "Yeah. Probably a Beast King. My alarm didn't go off, so it probably wasn't a threat. It's probably too fast, that's why it didn't get picked up. Some terrifying Beast King probably just zipped past or something. Thank goodness it's just passing by." Everyone seemed relieved. Only Qin Feng, who had Xiaobai the initiator, did not attempt to participate in the discussion as he got into his hover car and drove out of the basement. Due to the store they shopped from before having a good impression on Qin Feng and Xiaobai, this time they directly went to the branded store. "Welcome. Ah, Mr. Qin." A surprised voice sounded and Qin Feng looked up. It was Xiao Lian, who he had met at the Eagle Clubhouse yesterday. Qin Feng was also a little bit surprised. "Why are you here?" Xiao Lian put on a customary smile before glancing to the side for a moment, and said, "I work here. That stuff at the Eagle Clubhouse was only just my part-time job. I don't do it anymore." Qin Feng knew at first glance that she was lying. Xiao Lian indeed was not telling the truth, as she had been working at the Eagle Clubhouse since she was 16 and could be considered one of the veterans there. Having worked there for so many years, she naturally had several powerhouses backing her up, though the job required one to be young. Also, if someone were unhappy with them they might even turn up cold the next day. Even though Xiao Lian had worked there for 3 years, she had experienced matters of life and death, and she had to use her own money to buy therapeutic drugs to survive. As she was without a skill, she did not want to give up that job. What happened the day before managed to change her life. Including the money Qin Feng gave her, Xiao Lian had accumulated a total savings of 1.4 million yuan, enough to buy a house in the civilian district. When you think about it, was not wanting a shelter over one's head the reason why one would work hard? Xiao Lian made the decisive action to leave the Eagle Clubhouse. Fortunately, she had been sensible and obedient. The Eagle Clubhouse also had a lot of public relations with the local tyrants, so she was happily released. With the money in hand, she briefly thought about how to squander it before remembering the brand of Qin Feng's clothing that was bought from this store. As soon as she came over, she discovered that it was hiring employees. Xiao Lian immediately decided to work here, hoping to meet Qin Feng someday. Who would have known that she was this lucky to have arrived 10 minutes before Qin Feng did? Ha! Not bad. Qin Feng nodded, not bothered to pry into her lie. It was certainly best to not have to work in that wretched hive of scum and villains like the Eagle Clubhouse. It's good that you're here, now help her find a set of clothes. Include sets of undergarment. Qin Feng sounded a little embarrassed before pointing to Xiao Bai who he had been dragging around. Xiao Bai was not paying attention, glancing all around. The last time she came here, she was still a tiny fox. Naturally she only found the wedding dress that little foxes could wear. Today, she decided that clothes for two-legged beasts were much more pleasing. Though, the sunglasses made everything around her too dark. She reached up and pulled down her sunglasses to reveal her devastatingly beautiful face. I want this one, and that one and this one. Without holding back, Xiao Bai started to choose what she wanted. Yeah, tell her what you want. You can go take a look. Qin Feng put Xiao Bai in Xiao Lian's hands before shuffling off to the sofa to rest. Perhaps he was truly exhausted as he was unable to stop his eyes from closing as he recuperated. Xiao Bai did not cling on to Qin Feng, instead she started picking up clothes that she wanted and dashed into the fitting room. When Xiao Lian saw Xiao Bai, she developed a strong sense of jealousy. This girl had very beautiful looks even though she looked like a child. Yet, she was very alluring and even her voice sounded nice. Not only that, Qin Feng's indulgent attitude hurt Xiao Lian's feelings, he treated her like an attendant, yet when dealing with this other girl, he was unconsciously spoiling her. Miss, over here please, what are your measurements? We have all sizes here. What size? I don't know. Didn't the master say that you were supposed to help me? Xiao Bai said as a matter of factly. Xiao Lian felt like her heart was getting squeezed. Xiao Lian smiled and said stiffly, then let's try it out, here please. The two women entered the fitting room. While Xiao Lian had money and power, in comparison to this other girl she felt like an old fox. Xiao Lian was jealous deep down, and she could not stop herself from being sharp and unkind with her words, perhaps even thinking about some minor bad intentions. Xiao Bai, you call Mr. Qin your master. Are you his servant? Xiao Bai gave the other a strange look before thinking about how she got along with Qin Feng and said indifferently, no, more like he serves me. He prepares food for me, and will buy me presents when I get angry. It really was Qin Feng serving her. Xiao Lian's face contorted a little. This girl was deliberately showing off. Xiao Bai was an ultra beast and had very keen senses. At this time, she would no longer stand Xiao Lian's hostility and lost it for a moment. Her tone became chilly, not bearing any fury but full of prestige, sort of similar to the aura that Qin Feng gave off. What do you mean? Xiao Lian was dumbstruck. After gasping, she screamed, ah! A monster! Qin Feng, who had been resting his eyes to recuperate, immediately opened his eyes and rushed toward the fitting room in the fastest pace he could physically perform, then his eyes widened as he found a terrified Xiao Lian and an innocent-looking Xiao Bai. He wanted to slam his head into the wall at that moment. Chapter 66. The Dark Plague. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Stop fussing. She is a user with transfiguration ability. This happens all the time, Qin Feng explained. Xiao Lian was hardly convinced. She looked at Qin Feng suspiciously. Stop sticking your nose in matters that you are not supposed to know. Get out of here, Qin Feng ordered. My apologies, Mr. Qin. To Xiao Lian, this man was full of mystery. She knew that Qin Feng was an orphan that had only awakened about a month ago. However, his unparalleled growth in strength and the peculiar girl by his side were highly unusual. Could he be some sort of secret human weapon developed by the authorities? Xiao Lian created all sorts of headcanons regarding Qin Feng's identity without knowing that her idol, too, was having a headache inside the fitting room. What on earth happened? Qin Feng could not help but ask. Xiao Bai answered, that female human was being funny. She said I must first grow before I am allowed to serve you. She even criticized me for looking awful in this dress. Xiao Bai had just learned how to put on human attire. The V-neck gown on her generously exposed her deep cleavage. Qin Feng touched his nostril to make sure he was not having a nosebleed. What kind of nonsense did Xiao Lian just utter? Your current look does not match such a body shape. Ignore what she had just said. Qin Feng did not care about the child-like look on such a sexy body. Is that so? But I think I look better this way. Xiao Bai did not seem to be easily persuaded. If that is so, then at least reduce the size. All right then. Xiao Bai agreed reluctantly. Smaller. Qin Feng ordered with a hoarse voice. How about this? Qin Feng reached out and felt it with his hand. He then nodded. Okay, this should do. Xiao Bai looked into the mirror and examined herself. I see. So the size is a little exaggerated just now. I get it now. Qin Feng was speechless. The embarrassing shopping spree finally came to an end after Qin Feng personally picked a bra and brought a few more clothes for Xiao Bai. Is it because my body is still very young right now? Qin Feng suppressed his inner desire gushing through his blood vessels. He had been fighting a lot after he was reborn and he now realized that he might have other needs to fulfill. However, he soon discarded the thought once Xiao Bai's charming yet naive face came before his sight. Let's go. We need to go get you an identity. This idea came into Qin Feng's mind when Xiao Bai had taken the human form. There should not be much of a hassle for her to get one now with a human appearance. Qin Feng led Xiao Bai back to the orphanage. Those threats by the gangsters the day before were still lingering in his mind. He was worried and figured that it was best to pay the orphanage a visit to check on the kids. The orphanage was as crowded as always. Nevertheless, the kids were not as lively. They appeared lethargic and seemed to be shrouded by a gloomy aura. Qin Feng furrowed his brows. This is odd. What's the matter? He was perplexed. The kids were still excited to see Qin Feng. A lot of them recognized him from before. It's the big bro that brought us a lot of meat. Brother Qin. Hi, Brother Qin. Hi, kiddos. How are you guys today? Qin Feng dragged the kid closer to him and patted his head. Have you all eaten the meat that I brought over? Yeah. How many? The kid in his arm was only 3 to 4 years old. He did not really know how to count yet. Besides, who would have counted how much meat one had eaten? Despite that, some older kids responded, we had 10 slices. We are much stronger now after eating the tasty meat. Qin Feng pinched the kid's shoulder and nodded. Indeed, the kid's build had grown larger from the last time he met him. The dark aura on his face was less prominent as well. Master, they are infected by the Black Plague, Xiao Bai informed him. Qin Feng was stunned. He frowned and said, how's that possible? He did experience the same incident before his rebirth. The kids in the orphanage were infected by the contagion and none of them survived the epidemic. He had already absorbed the Hell Stone beforehand and had hunted down numerous corrupted ultra beasts to stop the spread. What was the source of the contagion this time? Nothing is impossible, my dear master. However, all you need to do is simply absorb the dark rune of this plaque with your ability and the kids will be safe, Xiao Bai suggested. This was a natural phenomenon for Xiao Bai, who had an ultra-beast inheritance. Xiao Bai may be ignorant toward the human social code, but when it came to knowledge about runes, human beings' hundreds of years of research would still be dwarfed by Xiao Bai's heritage. Qin Feng hence followed Xiao Bai's instruction and activated his ability. The kids did not understand the conversation between them and looked curiously at Xiao Bai. All of them were stunned by her beauty. "Big sis, you are just like an angel." Xiao Bai returned the compliment with a mesmerizing smile, and the kids immediately ditched Qin Feng for her. Qin Feng did not stop them and focused on sipping in the dark force. He did not close his eyes. Even without the inner vision, he could tell that the dark rune representing death was detaching from the younglings bit by bit as it rushed toward his mind. The smiles on the kids' faces were growing larger and larger. It was as if their discomfort and lethargy had evaporated, being bathed by Xiao Bai's gracious presence. Phew! Finally, the dark cloud around the kids had completely vanished. Qin Feng was relieved and troubled at the same time. There must be some explanation for this. Otherwise, these kids would not have fallen prey to the contagion. Qin Feng decided that he would go back and check out on the place where he had previously found the Hell Stone. "We should go in now, Xiao Bai." They waved goodbye to the children and marched toward the director's office. "Qin Feng, it's you. How are you, my old director?" Qin Feng greeted the director and was pleased to see that the old man was in good shape. "I am fine. Who is this pretty lady? Don't tell me she is your girlfriend." Lin Durong was surprised by Qin Feng's company and took a jab at him. Air. Where should I begin? Qin Feng wanted to deny it at first but realized that it might actually be just the plausible decoy he needed. It was not like he could tell the director that Xiao Bai was his pet. Similarly, would it not be weird if Xiao Bai were to tell others that Qin Feng was her master? Apparently, that was exactly what Xiao Bai had just blatantly told the director. "The thing is, I found her in the field. She might be an experimental subject of the Dark Coalition." See. Qin Feng removed Xiao Bai's hat and revealed her silver eyebrows and hair. "In short, she knows nothing about human society and greatly depends on me now. I have decided to shelter her and give her an identity. I hope you can help me out." Qin Feng had made up the lies on his way here. This helped explain her unnatural hair color and why she was unfamiliar with human beings. Xiao Bai acted innocently and looked at the old man. She had already met Lin Durong before without him knowing. She was peeking from inside the bag back then. Chapter 67. Bailey the White Fox. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Those scums from the coalition. Pfft. Lin Durong took a good look at Xiao Bai and figured that she was too unique to be considered a normal human being. He could not hold back his anger recalling the rumor that the Dark Coalition was experimenting on human-beast hybrids. "Worry not. I will get you an identity." Even if Qin Feng were not one of the orphans that had lived here before, Lin Durong would still happily lend him a hand. After all, he was the generous philanthropist that had donated the Beast General's meat to the orphanage. Thus, Lin Durong had no reason to reject when Qin Feng came to ask for his aid. "So, what's your name? Do you have one?" Lin Durong asked. Xiao Bai blurted naturally, "I'm Xiao Bai." Lin Durong was irritated. Was that not more like a dog's name? Despite that, he forced a smile and said gently, "Let's use a more elegant name, shall we?" Xiao Bai turned to Qin Feng, who was equally embarrassed. The name, Xiao Bai, was made up by him. At first, Xiao Bai did look like a Hiromi dog, and she is theoretically still a canine after she transformed into a fox. But this name was indeed inappropriate for the pleasant young lady she appeared to be now. Looking into the glossy pair of eyes on Xiao Bai's face, an idea popped up in Qin Feng's mind. "Let's call you Bai Li star. Bai Li." Lin Durong gave it a thought and nodded. "This will do. Let me key this in." While Lin Durong was busy editing the info, Qin Feng stroked Xiao Bai's long hair. Though it was not as fluffy as her fur, it was still silky smooth. From now onward, you should introduce yourself as Bai Li, Qin Feng's girlfriend. Just tell them I am your boyfriend if someone asks about me, okay? Yes, master. Xiao Bai, also known as Bai Li now, nodded obediently. She comprehended that Qin Feng did not want her to address him as master anymore. Is it a taboo in the human world? No wonder the two-legged female creature was overreacting just now. In her mind, Bai Li had automatically registered boyfriend into the same category as master. Shortly afterward, Lin Durong had completed the registration and uploaded the data into the new communicator bought by Qin Feng. He then passed it over to Bai Li. Beep beep beep. The communicator that belonged to Qin Feng rang abruptly. Qin Feng, why are you not in school today? Skipping class on your very first day? Zhou Hao asked in a concerned manner. He wondered what had happened to stall his best buddy from coming to school. He went to the university by himself today. Though Qin Feng owned a hover car, Zhou Hao knew just how bad the traffic could get inside the colony in the mornings. It would be very troublesome for Qin Feng to pick him up, so he politely refused his kind offer to fetch him when they parted the day before. After all, he was just a buddy and not his girlfriend. To his surprise, Qin Feng was nowhere to be seen when he went to look for him after class. He asked around and found out that he was absent today. That was when he decided to contact Qin Feng. I have some urgent errands to run, Qin Feng answered ambiguously and did not provide the details. I see. Please do remember to come in the afternoon. I heard that there will be an important assembly. Zhou Hao reminded him. Okay. I will be there. He hung up and then took his leave from Lin Durong's office. However, before he stepped out of the room, he could not help but turn back. Old man, I took part in the illegal arena to strengthen myself not long ago. Those men there tried to blackmail me with this orphanage. I might have accidentally caused you unwanted trouble. But be rest assured, I will sort it out quickly. After he had witnessed Lin Durong's influence before, Qin Feng no longer saw the dean as a helpless old man. The dean had his connections and considerable authority around here, so he thought that it was best to be honest with him. The illegal arena, eh? Lin Durong tensed up but did not rebuke Qin Feng for his actions. After the previous battle, Qin Feng was not the only one who had changed his perception of Lin Durong. Lin Durong was equally impressed by Qin Feng's capabilities. Qin Feng, if you have the confidence, then just go ahead and do whatever you deem necessary. As for the potential trouble, leave it to me. Those gangsters' threats are nothing but trash talk. Even with that fella Jiang Xiaoyang backing them, they still would not be able to touch me, Lin Durong said. Jiang Xiaoyang. The name did not ring a bell. However, since it was coming from Lin Durong, Qin Feng believed that he must not be a small character. Yes. He is an F7-tier ancient warrior in charge of the Eagle Clubhouse, though his power is slightly weaker than those in the same rank. He is a narrow-minded man and behaves unpredictably. Please be careful if you ever come across him. Lin Durong warned. I will take note. Thanks, old man. Qin Feng and Bai Li headed to the university after they left the orphanage. Xiao Bai, can you turn back into the fox form? Qin Feng asked. Xiao Bai had been exposed once inside the university. Besides, he could not smuggle her into the university in broad daylight. Bai Li rolled her eyes. The humankind sure is problematic. Xiao Bai instantly shrank and returned into the fox form that was only as large as the size of 2 palms. Nonetheless, this was actually Xiao Bai's most frightening battle form. Xiao Bai crawled out of her clothes. The bra was still clinging on her head. Qin Feng smiled and picked up Xiao Bai, and he placed her on his shoulder. Only then, he came down from the car and walked toward the university. He bumped into Qing Chao, the lecturer who tested him during the entrance exam halfway to the university block. Qin Feng, why didn't you attend class this morning? Cheng Chao asked without hesitation. Qin Feng was surprised that the teacher was aware of his absence. He had long graduated in his past life. The adult mind in him was still not used to being supervised and lectured by an educator in this way. Qin Feng answered awkwardly, "I had something to attend to." "How did you know?" Cheng Chao laughed. "I thought that you were not going to show up. I am your class teacher, that's why I was told about your absence. Let's go. We still have a lecture about elements followed by the grand assembly later on. Please don't run away from school again. Though the syllabus in this university is considered easy, it's still pretty hard for you to graduate if you keep skipping the important classes." Cheng Chao's expertise was none other than the introduction on abilities. Thus, it was not surprising that he had been assigned as their head teacher. When they reached the lecture room, the 16-year-old teenagers who had just graduated from middle school were sitting quietly on their seats waiting for Cheng Chao. Cheng Chao grinned when he saw all the young blood in his classroom. Teenagers are indeed the most adorable ones. "Qin Feng, please introduce yourself. The others have already done that this morning, so you would have to get to know them on your own." Qin Feng nodded and scanned his classmates. The number of students in this batch was even fewer than that of the previous years. There were only 21 of them. Qin Feng memorized all their faces with only a single glance despite not knowing their names. He knew that these people would be the best combatants in Qingbei Colony one day in the future. "My name is Qin Feng. I graduated from 10th middle school. There's nothing special about me except for my pet." Qin Feng tapped the fox that had recoiled into a ball of fur on his shoulder. "This is my contractual beast. She is extremely powerful. I hope that none of you will touch or approach her out of curiosity in the future. I will not be held responsible if something terribly unfortunate were to happen to you." Translator note. Li stands for glaze, glossy, in this context. In addition to that, the second Chinese word of fox also has the same pronunciation as li, thus the association in naming of Xiao Bai as Bai, white, li, also a wordplay for fox. Chapter 68. Light Ability User, Deng Yan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qin Feng's self-introduction sounded more like a warning. Xiao Bai disliked human contact when she was still a fox. Now that she had transfigured into the human form, Qin Feng had also become more possessive. He did not wish to see his Xiao Bai being touched and teased by others like a random domestic pet. To the others, Qin Feng was simply being arrogant. His classmates began to chastise him. "Who's this guy? How dare he act all high and mighty with such a shitty talent? So what if he has a pet? The 10th middle school. Isn't that the school near the slums? I heard that students there are either orphans or beggars." All of a sudden, the students in the class began to look at Qin Feng with contempt and scorn. That was exactly the outcome Qin Feng wanted. Otherwise, he would not have revealed his middle school name. Actually, there was no distinct segregation between the 10 middle schools inside Qingbei Colony. However, since these schools were located in different parts of the colony, the students in each school naturally originated from distinct social classes. The 10th school was situated near the peripheral right on the border between the city and the slums, where Qin Feng's orphanage was located. As such, it was normal for the school to bear a negative reputation. Qin Feng, who was a little out of tune with the surroundings, was instantly alienated by his peers. Cheng Chao was annoyed. He could see that Qin Feng was going to be a thorny presence in the classroom. "That's enough. Qin Feng, find yourself a seat. We are starting the class now." The seating arrangement was such that everyone had their own individual seats. There were several empty seats left at the back, so Qin Feng picked one near the window. Cheng Chao switched on the projector and began the class. "The very reason you are all here is that you are the only students that have awakened your core energy. What we are going to learn in this class include the basics and structure of ability, followed by rune rearrangement, etc. After Doomsday, ability users began to sprout amongst the humankind. The abilities could be generally categorized into 10 factions, which are metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, ice, light, and dark. Each of these factions represent a unique force. Ability is structured by runes, and the runes for each faction occupy the very atmosphere we are living in right now. To master the ability, one would need to absorb runes for his or her own use. There are 2 ways to accomplish this. First, you can absorb the rune present in the environment. The level of difficulty varies according to different environments. For instance. Second, you can do it through hunting down monsters or beasts born naturally with ability. The nature of their runes could be extracted mechanically from the ability core found in their brains. The rune structure and arrangement of each faction or element are dissimilar from one another. In the university library, there are a lot of records detailing the types of runes and their corresponding effects. You may read up about it if you are interested in any particular faction. Since the ability of each student in this class is unique, you may consult me individually after this. Next, I am going to show you some simple methods to train and manipulate runes, as well as how to enhance your consciousness. Qin Feng paid great attention to the lecture. He had learned most of the knowledge in his past life, but it was not as comprehensive. He understood the nature of ability better now after listening to Qing Chao's teachings. There are guidebooks in the library. I wonder whether any of them are focused on the dark faction. Qing Chao then switched the topic into consciousness, something Qin Feng did not have the chance to venture into in his past life. For the entire period, Qin Feng's concentration did not wane from the man in front of the classroom. He was deeply astonished by the new knowledge Qing Chao was delivering to them. Standing in front of the class, Qing Chao was mindful of the student's focus level. That's S.grade consciousness for you. His concentration did not slacken even once when he has set his mind on it. The lecture lasted for an hour. The other students lost interest halfway since they knew that most of the knowledge was available on the internet. They were not as focused as Qin Feng toward the end of the class. Okay, we will end here today. Now, let's move to the Grand Hall. The Grand Assembly is beginning soon. Qing Chao instructed his students. The Grand Assembly was unlike the normal assembly being held weekly. This only happened once per year, and it was the only time the students were allowed to meet the strongest fighter of Qingbei Colony, E.Tier ability user Deng Nian, in person. This was the old guy Wang Chen had mentioned when he invited Qin Feng to join the Tiger Flame troop. This would be the first time Qin Feng met Deng Nian after he was reborn. He did not cross paths with the old man in his previous life. Years later, Qin Feng became an A.Tier ancient warrior, an existence that even Deng Nian looked up to. For others, they were eager to see Deng Nian up close. Unlike Qin Feng, who had experienced far greater force, to them, Deng Nian was no different from a savior in Qingbei. Qin Feng frowned as he suddenly felt a great sense of irk. I almost forgot Deng Nian is a light ability user. The light and dark were 2 opposing factions that unsettled one another. Currently, Deng Nian was addressing the assembly while releasing bands of unique rays around him that took the shape of the sun. It swirled quietly and inadvertently drew the attention of the crowd toward it. The one on the stage is our powerful headmaster. See it for yourself, all the rays are concentrating on him. Mr. Deng is truly a formidable ability user. What an amazing power. I heard that he can save anyone from the brink of death as long as the person is still breathing. That's as close as resurrecting the dead. Most of the students gazed at the headmaster with great admiration. The assembly began as Deng Nian's voice was being amplified and reached the crowd below him. The students from the earlier batch did not need to be present and joined the assembly through broadcasted feed. Even so, they were equally excited to hear the headmaster's speech. Deng Nian was the embodiment of the Qingbei spirit and its people's faith. Welcome aboard, new recruits. He spoke in a respectable and gripping tone. Qin Feng was perhaps the only one unfazed by the headmaster's firm voice. Luckily, Deng Nian did not waste much time on useless babble and Qin Feng was able to get the content he was here for. You all have just joined the university, but this is not a playground. I want you to fully utilize the coming month to better your skills. 1 month from now, we are going to hold a comprehensive evaluation of the students. Those qualified will be dispatched to the stable spatial rift, spring hunting ground. This is a joint operation that spans across the 5 main universities in this colony. The top 10 students will be awarded a G.tier insignia, while the top 100 will receive fabulous rewards. Therefore, please give it your best. The news stirred an uproar among the crowd. A lot of students had actually chosen to enroll in the university because they were unprepared to face real danger in the outside world just yet. Unexpected to many, they were going to be thrown right in the face of danger so soon. Qin Feng, on the other hand, was enthused to hear the announcement. Spring hunting ground. This stable spatial rift was under the direct governance of the 5 main universities in Qingbei. It was the perfect training ground for students to enhance their power thanks to its rich resources and subpar beasts. However, Qin Feng was aware that in the middle of the hunting ground stood an immensely valuable fruit tree. It was called the consciousness tree. Qin Feng's main objective for coming to this university was none other than the fruit on this tree. As its name implied, it was a useful ingredient for improving one's consciousness. Deng Nian spoke again as if he was answering the panicky crowd. The colony needs heroes, my young apprentices. I suggest that each and every one of you start to think and behave like one. There are still a lot of unknown dangers lurking outside the barrier waiting to be resolved by people like us. We need reinforcement now more than ever, especially when our colony is facing a threat of an unprecedented scale. A video promptly appeared on the giant screen. Chapter 69. The Corpse Core. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The footage was clearly captured using a drone. It was taken from the top of a mountain range at a time near the end of summer, right before spring began. The plants at the perimeter were still growing vibrantly without any signs of wilting. Yet, huge dark spots were seen spreading out from the center of the mountains. The affected land was stained with a dark brown color, indicating its infertility. Plants there appeared black as if they had been scorched. That was not the end of it. The movements spotted on the mountain top were far more unsettling. It was swarm after swarm of zombies. The drone flew in deeper. Right at the center of the mountain peak, a dark knight riding a skeleton horse stood out from the legion around it. The flaming soul burning within its skeleton rose and stared directly into the camera. In the next moment, the javelin in its hand was tossed into the air. Inch by inch, the crowd could see the spearhead closing in on the screen until finally, the video blacked out and there was dead silence. Gasp. Those with a weak mind were unable to refrain from crying out in horror. They felt like the javelin was going to break through the screen and reach them. Though it was just footage, many students were actually relieved that they were still alive. What is that surreal creature? How can it be so powerful? Qin Feng was equally restless. He realized that the location of the video was exactly where the Hell Stone had crashed. No wonder the kids from the orphanage were infected by the dark rune again. Though he had gotten rid of the dark stone, the colony was still in great peril just like in his past life. Only this time, the menace was not from the corrupted beasts but a legion of well-organized zombies. The skeleton knight must be at least an F.tier beast king. Qin Feng thought to himself. Deng Nian's voice rose again. Currently, we need to unite all available forces inside Qingbei to defend against the powerful beast. All G.tier aptitude users in the 2nd and 3rd years, as well as the supporting aptitude users, will be deployed to the field. This marks the end of the 69th Grand Assembly of the University. Dismiss. The initial joy in the jubilant students at the beginning of the assembly had now been replaced by deep thought and fear. Ching Chao shook his head and murmured, "Looks like the freshmen are truly frightened. As far as I can remember, they would usually show milder content like a documentary in the past years. Those documentaries were equally daunting, but it was less traumatizing than this one. The university was not going to cut the students any slack. It was not like they were able to stay protected inside the colony after they had entered the school. They would not be able to step out of their comfort zone this way. On the contrary, the principle of the university was to let the students battle as much and as early as possible. The teachers would encourage the students to explore the wild, either through direct influence or indirect persuasion. Otherwise, things like Li Yaoyao forming an expedition team would never have happened. While Ching Chao was in his own train of thought, Qin Feng approached him quietly. "Sir, I wish to join this operation." Qin Feng volunteered himself. Ching Chao thought that he had heard him wrongly. "Qin Feng, you should not act out of impulse. Focus on your studies and training first. You can join when you are truly ready. Besides, you won't be allowed to join since you are not a support member." Qin Feng thought about it and asked, "What if I have earned the G.Tier aptitude user badge? Will I be qualified then?" Ching Chao was unable to rebut. "Theoretically, yes. But practically, it would be impossible with your current skill set." Qin Feng did not insist and took his leave. His classmates looked at him like he was a madman. "You want to join the operation fighting those scary zombies? Dream on with that useless talent of yours." Qin Feng operated his communicator and called Zhou Hao. "Do you want to join the zombie cleansing operation? *T. As much as you do." Zhou Hao answered without any hesitation. He had trained painstakingly for this day. He wished to fight. He hardly saw Qin Feng recently. Luckily this best buddy of his had not forgotten him. "You got an idea?" Zhou Hao asked curiously. "Yes. Meet me in the evening on the day after tomorrow." Zhou Hao was very excited. The day ended after the grand assembly was over. He grabbed a quick dinner at home and went straight to bed after that. He needed the rest badly after the busy week. More importantly, he still had a difficult fight waiting for him at night. At 10 p.m., Qin Feng once again appeared at the Eagle Clubhouse. Not only that, he was accompanied by Bai Li in the human form this time. The place went pin-drop silence wherever Bai Li appeared. The people around the clubhouse were stunned by her beauty and were lost for words. Qin Feng had no choice but to order Bai Li to put on a pair of sunglasses. "Why should I wear sunglasses when it's dark?" Bai Li asked. Qin Feng did not know how to answer. He was not going to tell her that he disliked other people looking into her beautiful eyes. "Just do as I say." Qin Feng patted her head. Bai Li pouted her lips but still did as her master said. They did not know that their every action was currently being watched. The stalker was Jiang Xiaoyang, who was sitting comfortably inside the manager's office. Someone had informed Jiang Xiaoyang the moment Qin Feng set foot into the clubhouse. The clubhouse had surveillance cameras in every corner. He pressed a few buttons to bring up the right angle and was equally astonished by Bai Li's elegance. That astonishment was immediately replaced by rage and jealousy. He felt violated when Qin Feng touched Bai Li's hair. In his twisted mind, Jiang Xiaoyang perceived that only he and not the lowly Qin Feng deserved someone as beautiful as Bai Li. He vowed to take the girl away from Qin Feng, who was going to die inside the arena tonight. "Has all the arrangements been made?" Jiang Xiaoyang uttered rather wickedly. "Yes. Don't worry, sir. He wouldn't make it out alive tonight once he steps into the arena." The guy from the other end spoke confidently. Qin Feng entered the ring around 11 p.m. The Eagle Clubhouse held multiple fights in one night, so Qin Feng had to wait for several rounds before his turn. A lot of attendees today were audience members from the day before. They did not want to miss out on Qin Feng's match, so they came again since he had promised to turn up today. 5 straight wins were no easy feat. Many would have backed away from the 6th match. However, Qin Feng had defeated Armbreaker, who had a 7-streak win, in his last match. The audience was expecting to see more of Qin Feng. The MC's voice soon resonated inside the arena. The next person is a newbie in this ring. Yet, I believe most of our audience already know him from yesterday. He is our 5-straight wins contestant, Mad Fox. He is entering his 6th game now. Can he keep his hot streak going? Let the match begin. Qin Feng's opponent this time was a G7-tier ancient warrior. The odds of the two fighters were almost on par. Nevertheless, many placed their bets on the challenger after being incited by the MC. The Eagle Clubhouse would still be the biggest winner regardless of the match outcome. Qin Feng defeated his first opponent of the night with ease. He then consecutively put down a G8 and 2 G9 challengers. Qin Feng did not get carried away and could almost smell the foul plot. This is too easy. Something is not right. Chapter 70. Martial Arts vs. Abilities. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 70. Martial Arts vs. Abilities. At this time, Qin Feng already had 9 straight wins. And with the appearance of the next contestant, the bet results were also announced. The ratio had actually reached 7.8. In spite of this, some people who had been stunned by his victory had fiercely pounded in their cash. The funds in the gambling pool might have exceeded 800 million. If Qin Feng were to win, the casino would naturally lose a hefty sum. However, if Qin Feng were to be defeated, the casino would be able to make a fortune. Qin Feng looked at the opponent in front of him and finally understood why the casino did this. The opponent was actually an F2-tier ancient warrior. If Qin Feng were just an ordinary ancient warrior, even if he defeated those of the G2-tier, he would not be able to beat an F2-tier ancient warrior. This ancient warrior, in particular, had a stable and concise aura. He was obviously a pro. Your winning streak is over, boy. The ancient warrior's finger swiped across his neck, which was obviously the sign of decapitation. What he meant was self-evident. Those ancient warriors before were just goofing around and there to build the desired momentum. The real killer was at the end. It seems that Barbarian is full of hostility toward Mad Fox, and he wants to behead him. Barbarian is a decent fighter, with ancient martial arts parallel training being his greatest strength. With a body as strong as iron, and strength that is extremely powerful, will he be able to overturn Mad Fox's status? The host gave a brief introduction, but many people did not care. He only had a strong body, and not many people would focus on honing this kind of skill to the highest level. There was no way he would be able to rival Mad Fox. Mad Fox was fast and strong. He was probably no weaker than Barbarian. Probably because Barbarian focused on training his physical strength, the aura he exuded was not particularly potent, so he did make people feel like he was one fierce towering giant. Very few people could see that his strength was that of an F2-tier. He did not make much of an appearance in the past. After all, he was a hidden trump card. He had only won 3 rounds, but each of his opponents died very miserably. However, in the ring, people who had died tragically were nothing new. The prestige of Barbarian might not be as high as the previous Armbreaker. Ding ding ding. The bell sounded, and the match officially started. Come on, Mad Fox. Barbarian blatantly taunted Qin Feng with a hook of his finger. He was actually very smart. Speed was not his forte, so he wanted Qin Feng to attack first, and then counterattack when he was in close range. As you wish. Qin Feng did not attempt to dodge. He also wanted to know how strong his own body was now. Qin Feng's absorption skill was much more powerful than it was before his rebirth. Qin Feng's physical strength did not require much cultivation, and was comparable to those ancient warriors who had practiced parallel training. The timing was right for him to have a proper comparison. Qin Feng stepped forward and swung his fist. Barbarian did not dodge his attack. He also swung his fist and punched Qin Feng's body. As for Qin Feng's oncoming fist, he did not even care. It was merely a wound for a wound. Barbarian did not believe that Qin Feng could cause any harm to him. However, if Qin Feng did not avoid Barbarian's fist, then he would receive a penetrating strike on the heart. Qin Feng struck first, so his fist was the one that landed first on Barbarian's chest. At that moment, all Barbarian felt was a huge incoming force, so much so that he could not even contend in order to overturn him. His body was pushed back and he was forced to step backward. The fist he launched did not even have the chance to touch Qin Feng. Barbarian stepped 3 steps backward before stabilizing his figure. Ah! Mad Fox, go on, kill him. Get rid of him, beat him to death. Good one. With the audience cheering excitedly, Barbarian felt a surge of rage rushing to his head. He had been careless, and he did not expect to be knocked back by Qin Feng. Roar! Barbarian suddenly roared out loud, and a yellow light shrouded his palm. Barbaric fist. Qin Feng's eyebrows twitched visibly. It's martial arts. After all, ancient warriors not only knew how to use their nigong, their martial arts skills were sometimes as powerful as abilities. Qin Feng had also mastered a lot of martial arts skills in his previous life. However, with his current reflexes and experience, he could respond to any threat without having to waste this internal strength. However, he would have some losses. Qin Feng did not intend to forcefully resist, as he dodged extremely fast. With a strike from Barbarian, there seemed to be a translucent fist shadow bursting out. The shadow lengthened with a gust of wind, and reached a meter high in the blink of an eye. Even the surrounding area was swirled up in the gust of wind as a chaotic energy burst out. The punch ended up smashing nothing. Boom! Barbarian's fist directly hit the ground, smashing the sturdy ring ground into a wrecked state. The force was so great that the energy force field was not spared, causing the translucent force field to fluctuate and ripple. The audience shouted suddenly, and all of them stood up from their seats. At that moment, it did not matter whether they were betting on Qin Feng's victory or not, they were still very excited. Martial arts. This is martial arts. They came here to watch the match and were actually able to see a fight that involved martial arts, as such it was certainly well worth its value. Barbarian missed his strike, but he was not perturbed as he approached Qin Feng again. The two clashed head-on once more, but this time they were evenly matched. Qin Feng was guarding against Barbarian. Soon, Barbarian's barbaric fist erupted again, and Qin Feng could only passively avoid it. On the ring, it seemed that the battle outcome was rather apparent. At the backstage, Jiang Xiaoyang was rather pleased as he watched the fight unfold, taking a sip of wine and then switching to another camera's feed. The camera was facing Bai Li, who was standing in a corner. Despite wearing sunglasses, her perfect posture still attracted the attention of many people. There was a group of people around her, preventing other people from getting close to her. They were naturally sent by Jiang Xiaoyang. He already regarded Bai Li as his own property. The moment Mad Fox dies, he would go and personally greet this beauty. On the ring, Barbarian was panting heavily. No one knew how much energy he had consumed. Barbarian had been practicing his parallel training skills. Although the barbaric fist was said to be driven by one's internal strength, its energy outburst was 10 times more than one's physical strength. If one were to get hit by the barbaric fist, even a leapfrog aptitude user would be shattered by him. However, Qin Feng was as slippery as a fish, swiftly avoiding the oncoming attacks whenever possible. If Barbarian did not use his barbaric fist, Qin Feng would take the chance to attack again. On the ring, it seemed as if Barbarian was forcing Qin Feng to retreat and defend. It was more accurate to say that Barbarian had no other choice, otherwise he would get attacked by Qin Feng. What's the matter? Out of energy. So that means that it's my turn now, eh? Qin Feng said coldly. Barbarian's heart felt a sudden jolt as he felt that something bad was about to happen. And at this time, a great absorption force burst forth from Qin Feng's body. Asteroid assimilation. Barbarian practically staggered 2 steps forward. Like a puppet drawn by its master, he moved toward Qin Feng, who placed his palm on his dantian. In the next moment, Barbarian's internal strength was like flowing water, rushing out and being absorbed by Qin Feng in the blink of an eye. You! Barbarian did not even have time to react in anger as Qin Feng's other hand was raised. Everyone could see that Qin Feng's fist had become black in an instant, and there were even flames surrounding it. Barbarian's physical strength was indeed strong. Qin Feng's fist alone was naturally unable to perform a critical strike, but what about his abilities? Hellfire wrapped around Qin Feng's fist, and in the next moment, it was blasted through Barbarian's heart.